What time is it? Game time. Y'all know who it is. It's Elijah Best. I'm the CEO and founder of Vet Boss, and I'm also known as Vet Boss. And we're going live today to share the incredible stuff that Marshall Townsend is doing. He's a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army, and man, oh man, oh man. So before we get started, one, I got a quick question. Do you guys like this view better, or do you guys like this view better? We're gonna be rocking with this one today. All right. So if you like this one, go ahead and put one in the chat. Okay. And if you prefer this one, go ahead and hook me up and put two in the chat. All right. I don't know. I'm starting to like this one better, but I committed to this one. So we're going with this one again. So again, this is one and this is two. All right. Sweet. Now, Marshall is an incredible human being. He's involved in so many different organizations. And so I just really want to share that stuff. But today, and in the Vet Boss community, oh, we got a comment. What's up, brother? What I really want to do is what this whole thing is about, right? Is about sharing what veterans. He says one, this is better. Awesome. I was thinking the same thing because up close and personal. Sweet. So what I want to do is I want to share what veterans are doing to give back. I meet so many different people that are, veterans and their coaches, and they're killing it. And when I say killing it, I mean that they are completely giving back and back to the community, whatever it is. So, Marshall, you're retired. Technically, you don't have to be doing anything. So, what drives you to keep you going after retirement?
Oh, I'll tell you, I'm not sure about that, but not having to do anything. Yeah. I've always had a passion to be able to teach and add value to people. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoy although I'm retired, and then after I retired from the military, spend another 18 years being an advisor, coach, and mentor to the military. I'm now on my own doing it as an entrepreneur, and I still have this passion to be able to give back, like I say, and add value to people. So there's a lot of young service members out there that are stepping out of the military, or have been out for a while, that are looking for ways to grow and become more successful in what they're doing.
Yes, and so I'm about to dive into this. Marshall is a certified John Maxwell leader. He's certified in a lot of different areas to even lead within John Maxwell, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So you're a leader within a leadership program. So that's awesome. But I want to ask right before we get kicked off into your story and the stuff that you're doing, because I have a lot of hot questions I want to ask you about your podcast. One thing I believe that veterans are so close to entrepreneurship. I mean, one of the reasons why I joined the Air Force was to help me become a better entrepreneur, but it was a good guess. I didn't know what I had in store, but the work ethic, the sales, the leadership. So Marshall, can you share with the audience some things that you think that a veteran already has when they're from the military that's going to really enhance their abilities to crush it at business?
Well, a veteran is a self-starter. They when they get used to being given a mission and then set out to go accomplish it. So that's where if you're going to hire a veteran, you're hiring somebody who's a self-starter, who's not going to sit around and wait to be told what to do. And as veterans come out into the workforce, I think that's probably one of their most powerful assets, is that they do far side of the hill thinking. They're thinking of what's going to come next. What do they got to do? They think in terms of maneuver. I'm an old tanker, so they think in terms of maneuver, and that's what entrepreneurs got to be doing all the time. Is they're on the field and they got to maneuver.
Awesome.
And so that's why I think working with them and then opening up their eyes to the fact that the skills and talents that they learned in the military are really powerful in the entrepreneurial landscape.
Yeah. And so now we're going to start diving into your podcast, man. So that was awesome. So your podcast, I'm definitely going to butcher this up, but it's about the belief that people are, correct me if I'm wrong, that pretty much everyone has a leadership ability, like the ability to become a good leader. And you really kindle that flame within them to say, hey, I'm a leader too. Because, a lot of times people just look out there and they see leaders and they think, oh man, I'm an introvert, I'm not social, whatever it is. stopping them. So what would you say before we start? Well, I guess we're diving into it now, but what would you say is like the overall message of your podcast?
Well, to me, though, the part of the podcast I've been working on right now is taking you on a journey of climbing a mountain or learning to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic message is that you got to stay on the trail. If you're going to climb this mountain, which is your goal, your dream, you got to stay on the trail. And one of the things that all of us, I don't care who we are, we have a great fear of doing is that, we have a tendency to step away from our mission, step away from our dreams, and step off that trail. And what I call is we build a campfire. We sit down and we don't go anywhere for a long, long time. So a basic message I have is stay on the trail and keep moving, because you're moving forward. And whether the trail's going uphill or it's going downhill, it's still going. And the worst thing you can do to yourselves is think that a good way to describe it is one of my old videos was, I'm a tanker, and when you go out of the backside of the motor pool for the very last time, a lot of us think that, there's a thing called tow hooks. These are things that you tow your tanks with.
Real quick, sorry, what's a motor pool?
A motor pool. Oh my God. A motor pool is where all the tanks are lined up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So at the end of the day, you're retiring and you're going out the motor pool gate for the last time. Don't be thinking that if something happens, don't think that somebody's going to come recover you back into the motor pool, because they're not. They're not coming for you anymore. You got to self-recover. You got to recover forward. You got to keep moving, no matter. And we all go out the gate and stick our tanks. Is one way to describe it. We're all going to go get stuck in the mud, but you're going to have to learn to self-recover and recover forward and keep moving, keep climbing that mountain, keep going. And it's rough sometimes. So that's my message. My baseline message is stay in the fight and keep going.
I love it, man. As an entrepreneur, I definitely see that, I really think that the success comes from people who stay on the trail. And I think they get a little confused. Like if they, maybe they started a thing, right? Like a long time ago, I was trying to become an entrepreneur, and I was trying darn near everything. And I was helping people like cut the cord for cable. And that business, it was a multi-level marketing thing. And I didn't really like it after a while. And I think I could have believed that I was meant to be an entrepreneur or whatever. So my question that I was really getting towards is like, why do you think that people fall off the trail sometimes?
I think they begin to doubt their capability. I say the most dangerous part of the trail is not when the hill's going up, because we're all in it. We like a good fight. We like it when it's going up, and we love that. And then when the hill's going down, it's the same thing. We're going down and we get real intentional in what we're doing. We're getting cautious. But we're being deliberate in our actions, and we like that. Again, that's a call to action. The trail's going down. Yeah. But when the trail's flat and level, and you're just plodding along, I call that the most dangerous part of the trail. Everybody says, "No, that's the easy part, Marshall. You don't have to worry about anything." And the answer is no. That's when you start getting in your head thinking, "What am I doing? Where am I going? I'm not making any success. Maybe I should step off the trail and reassess what I'm doing."
What do you think it looks like? Because I know a lot of times people may hear a podcast like this and they hear that and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense." But then in entrepreneurship, when you actually get there, you don't even realize that you're there. So can you tell them, what does it mean when you get to that level point?
I think you get to a point where best way to describe it is, and this is harsh, is that the tomorrow you may need you to abandon the you of yesterday, and you may need to let go of things. I describe it as a campfire. We all get around the campfire, and the next thing you know, we get campfire people around us. We got campfire ideas, and we got campfire habits, and it's very hard to put the fire out and stand up and get back on the trail and start moving, because when you do that, the heartbreak is, and I know this well, is not everybody at the campfire is going to come with you. Some are just campfire people. They're going to stay there. So you're going to have to abandon some people. You're going to have to abandon some ideas and some of your habits and get back on that trail. And that's hard. And that's one of the things. We like that comfort zone. We like to have, oh, it's nice at the fire. Yeah. But I always say that you can't lead a campfire because it's not going anywhere. You manage the campfire, but the manager keeps the campfire going, but never lets it go anywhere, because Smokey the Bear would be upset if it went someplace. So the object is keep the that's if you're managing the campfire, that's all you're doing, and you're thinking like a manager. Entrepreneurs think like leaders, and they're out on the trail. Little entrepreneurs light the torch and take the torch and go into the darkness to light the way for other people. And don't sit on their butts at the campfire.
Yeah,
it's safe at the campfire, and that's the mindset for an entrepreneur, is that, hey, I need new ideas. I need uphill ideas. I need uphill habits. I need top of the mountain people to be around. I learned this about a lot of leaders, is that in the military, a lot of the senior leaders come out of the military, and I'll go back to my analogy of the tank. They come out the back gate, they stick their tank, and they sit up on top of the tank thinking somebody's going to do it for them, because they've been a person of authority all their life, and they've always expected somebody to do it. And,
to do what?
To help them, to recover them. If anything's broke, they always had a team that worked with them. And now they're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur, and nobody's coming to help you. So, but what I've learned is, if you get off the tank and you start digging yourself out, then people will come help you. People will see what you're doing, and people will come to you. But if you sit on top of the tank and just sit there and expect, you're going to be sitting there all day. You're never going to go anywhere. But so you got to show the people around you that you're willing to do the work. You're willing to dig in, and you're willing to get yourself. You're willing to put that campfire out and stand up and keep moving. Then uphill type people will come to you and help you up the trail. But
I definitely want to ask you. Go ahead.
Plane.
What was that last thing you said?
I said, don't sit alongside the trail near the camp at the campfire complaining about nobody helping you up the mountain.
What exactly is the campfire?
Oh, I would say that's that mindset. It's that comfort zone. It's the way I always did things. What I'm doing is just good enough. When I'm coaching with clients, they business owners, is okay, how many sales did you have this week? And one of my questions is that good enough? Are you happy? At the end of the month, is the thing you do at the end of the month is, I made it. I got enough money to cover everything to the end of the month. And you got to ask yourself, is that good enough? Because if that's good enough, you're in campfire mode. You're playing small. You're always, you're going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
Until the day you say, it's not good enough. I want more. I want, and I want to get to a point, and it's just not more cash. I want to be able to get to a point where I'm influencing and helping other people, and being the person that I was kind of born to be. That's where I want to be, not just cash.
Yeah, that's huge. Being the person that you feel like you are supposed to be. Talk more on that.
Oh, well, that's one that it's got to do with your dreams. And one of the reasons why I don't like habits, but setting goals. A lot of people get, busy setting goals, and their idea is to get something. I'll go back to the mountain analogy. They set their dream as that mountain, and their idea is, I'm going to get to the top of that mountain. But about halfway up that mountain, they start learning that getting to the top of the mountain is not who they are. They want to become a mountain climber. There's two different things between someone who gets to the top of the mountain and someone who becomes a mountain climber.
Yeah.
Because one is one and done, and the other one is ready to take on any mountain.
Yeah.
So the day I make that transition from I want to set a goal to get something, or do I want to grow into becoming someone or becoming something, uh, that's what we need to look to. So my passion is to become that mountain climber, to become that person who has that successful business, who has uh, that circle that you're influencing or you're helping. That's who I want to become. I don't want to get that. Getting it doesn't. I can say I can help one person,
Right.
and not fulfill what I want to become. Or right. So my dream is more of becoming something and not getting something.
Yeah, that's incredible because, a lot of times people ask, like, how does one stay driven? How does someone stay motivated? There's a lot of, athletes and stuff like that to where they, whether they become an athlete or, they do their Super Bowl and you hear that it's hard for them to keep going for that next thing. So what would you say is that thing, or do you think that's the solution or a solution towards staying hungry?
It's finding if you read all the books, there's finding your why, finding why you're doing and being able to nail that down.
Yeah.
There's another book by Mike Kim called "You Are the Brand." I recommend that. Everybody, he talks about you do three things. You ask yourself what pisses you off,
Uh-huh.
what breaks your heart,
Uh-huh.
and what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
And if that what I'm doing about it drives you, that's your passion, then that will keep you moving forward. Because now when I worked with corporate America, it pissed me off that I was spending all this time, although I was coaching and teaching people, the large corporations were mistreating the employees so badly, and that pissed me off. What broke my heart is I saw my employees and myself commit everything to the job at the cost of our families, at the cost, a lot of cost of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's why I stepped out and started my own entrepreneur business, so I could help other people overcome that, not be trapped in those type of businesses. So that's kind of why I do. I lived through the piss me off and break my heart periods.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing something about it, and that's how I'm out helping. So that drives me why I'm doing what I'm doing. And a lot of people, can ask that same things. That's Mike Kim. That's not me. Mike Kim wrote that book.
Yeah.
But I'm stealing it today.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to point out, as a person who does marketing, story brand is really big right now. But if somebody were, so if you're thinking about posting content on your social media and you're looking for a framework, so a lot of times when coaches post content on their social media, they just kind of throw it up there and they don't really know about framework. So hearing that was an incredible framework, not only to use for yourself, but you can get double the value out of it by also using that to post content. So people love stories when they hear content. I would try to make that 2 minutes or less. And then I would say, I would write out what breaks my heart, what pisses me off, and what I'm doing about it. And I would start with what's pissing me off, because that's what Marshall just did. And it sounded freaking incredible. And it catches attention. It's always important to keep their attention. So I start with what pisses you off. And again, drama attracts attention. We all know this. And then after that, what breaks your heart. So there's an awesome book by Guy Kawasaki. He worked with Steve Jobs, and he has a book called Selling the Dream. It's about being evangelical in your cause. So if you want to be a marketer today, there's tons of coaches. The coaching space is saturated. You want to definitely separate yourself by having a cause attached to it. So anything that you could speak of that attaches to your heart, if you're able to say, hey, this pissed me off, but this is the part that broke my heart. And again, Marshall, slam that. And then you say what you're doing about it. That could be whether it's a promotion of what you're doing, whether you're not promoting, because you don't always want to promote. Sometimes you want to just do goodwill and you just explain, hey, this is the new thing I'm going to do. Or if you're starting a Facebook group and you want to say, I'm starting this Facebook group to blah, 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 blah. That'd be a great promotion opportunity. Just had to throw that out there for you guys.
All right. Yeah. I'll tell you, you said it. Is that that will catch attention? Is that,
yeah.
If you're at a networking event and everybody turns to you, so what do you do? And you go, I'm a business coach. And everybody goes, oh, thank you very much. And that's it. But if you say, let me tell you, I'll tell you what pisses me off is the whole room just your attention. Everybody's going to shut up and go, what? But now you're going to talk from the heart. It's going to talk from who you are. And people buy your why. This is back to your why. People buy your why long before they buy your products and services. So if you can figure out your why you're doing this and communicate that, um, that is that's what keeps people coming back to you. That's what people but people may buy from you once, but if they understand your why, they will refer people to you, they will send people to you, they will buy continuously from you over the long run. And that's what's important.
I love that.
If they buy your why before they buy your products and services.
And to slam something else onto that, it's funny. I forgot, whether I can't believe I forgot at the moment. I'm having a brain fart if I'm a millennial or what. I was born in 1992. Point is, the generation after me, so Generation Y, I think, they are. I just looked this up the other day. They're born in a time where it's so easy to see so many different products. You just go online, you go on social media, you find the products. So they're even more inclined to follow a company or purchase from a company that has a good cause, that has a why, and the things that Marshall was just saying. So we got Dr. Heather Lewis saying that being able to articulate your why. Yeah, it's so powerful, and it's going to be even more powerful as the next generation gets older. So this is something that you want to definitely start mastering and practicing to improve that.
And be authentic with that. Don't make up something. Be authentic of why you're doing what you're doing. Because then they'll connect with you.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely correct. Everybody, I call it the Amazon effect. Is that you look at a product on Amazon and right below it, all the other options are listed out. And you could see, but so you can look and say, okay, I like that company. I like that message when people go to buy, and so they're accustomed to seeking out something that they connect with. They like that. And like you just said, it is that they will seek you out because you stand out from the crowd because you have a message of what you're doing. And that could be anything. That could be selling cars. When I came out of the military and then I stepped out of the corporate world, I went out and sold cars.
Nice.
And a lot of people looked at me and were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm working. Selling is working with people. It's not something you do to people. It's something you do for people. So I was out learning how to connect and sell. But I quickly learned that I could learn from the customer what they didn't like, what pissed them off about salespeople. And then what broke my heart is I could see people buying cars and getting stuck with used cars or cars off the lot that really didn't fit what their need was, but they still put all their money into it. And just as a car salesman, I reflect back on it now because I didn't have Mike Kim's language then, but I reflect and said, no, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy that just sells you any car. I'm going to listen to you and connect with you and learn what you want and then make it a fit. So you walk off the lot. So it was that same thought, same theme of listening. I call it listen, learn. My mom told me this. She said, before you cross the street, you need to look and listen. And my dad said when I went in the military is you need to look, listen, and learn before you start to lead. And
I love that.
That was a very powerful lesson from my dad and my mom. So I tell people today, look and listen first, learn, and now you're ready to be a leader or a salesperson, or selling is leading.
So is it look, listen, learn, or is it just like you listen, you look and learn?
Well, I took it from back to mom was before you cross the street, you need to look and listen. Because you'll always hear the car coming before you'll see the car coming. And then, like I say, the object is to look, listen, and then learn. So no matter what situation, when you're dealing with people, learn from their point of view what's going on before you decide the jump in as the leader. And I think that what made me successful as a leader in the military is that I didn't come in from my perspective. I tried to learn their perspective and then find a way to lead in that. And because of that, people followed me.
I think I just want to put a lot of attention on what you said, because what you just said is so powerful. I mean, as a retired lieutenant colonel, when you see, or let me just ask, is that something you look for? Is that something you notice? From your perspective, if somebody was new anywhere and they wanted to raise up in that place really quickly, whether it's corporate job, regular job, military, business, whatever, sales team, what is it like when you see different people, and who do you look towards as, that guy, that woman, I like them, and then you would actually start helping them to elevate in their career?
Well, I look for that they're all in, for one, that they're committed. And I wear lots of hats, things I do. I took my lieutenant colonel hat off a long time ago. 1999 is when I retired. So I kind of took that hat off then, and tried to put on to wear my marshal hat, to be me. I wanted to be me going forward from that. But when I look at individuals, I still look with that same set of eyes that I have, the leadership eyes. I think the most important thing the leader can do is to train the people under them to see with the leader's eyes, to hear with the leader's ears, to accept standards at the leader's level. It's not that I should be inspecting everything myself. I should be teaching everybody in my team to inspect like I would inspect, to hear what I would hear. I want them to look, listen, and learn like I am. So that's what I'm going to empower in my team.
Yeah.
They've got to be. So I'm looking for people that are lean forward in the saddle, that are all in, and are teachable. That's the other part. Is they got to be teachable.
That's powerful. Let me read this real quick. Look, listen, learn, lead equals nice, being open to their point of view. Meet people where they are. Absolutely.
And that's important. That's important. Even when I'm speaking from the stage, that's probably the most important thing. Is I learned this from John Maxwell. There's the three things that when you speak from the stage, you got to do is you got to value your audience, you got to believe in your audience, and you got to unconditionally love your audience. And I heard him talking about that from the stage, and I realized as a military guy, that was exactly the same as a leader. I got to believe in my audience. I got to believe that they're there because they want to grow. They want to listen to me. And if I believe in them, they will believe in me. The other one is value. If I value my audience, I'm going to try to give them value, and I'm going to try to help them and give them information that is of value, instead of just giving them, the easy stuff. I'm going to always try and give value. And the last one is you unconditionally love your audience, just like any leader should unconditionally love every soldier in the unit, or I'm a soldier, every service member. I told you I took that hat off in 99. It didn't come all the way off. Okay. But you got to unconditionally love them, because that means you make it all about them. Leadership is about your team, not about you. So you're on the stage, it's all about your audience and not about you. So it went back to what she just said there. You talk to them where they are, not where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, so much value in everything you're talking about, because like even me as a content creator for the Vet Boss community, I mean, a practice that I consciously and subconsciously do is just loving them more. And I also want to say that what you said, that when John Maxwell said was really good for leadership, it's also really good for sales too. So yeah, that's really incredible. It's really incredible. I noticed on your podcast, one of the things you had talked about was beginning anew. Can you explain what that is?
It goes back to this discussion of the trail, of climbing the mountain. I've kind of got that theme. In fact, what I'm doing is I've restarted that theme on my LinkedIn account, because it's been a couple of years since I did that. And so I want to refine that storyline. But beginning anew is don't start over wherever you're at. You're been climbing the mountain. You're not starting over. You're starting anew, which means you're taking all your current experiences, everything you know, and beginning. So you're going up the mountain trail, and the trail ends. Or there was a bridge, and somebody took the bridge and left with it. The bridge is gone. So the journey, the path that you were on ends. Don't go back to the bottom of the mountain and start over. From right there, begin anew. Take a new direction. Take a new path. And with that, though, don't forget the lessons you learned. Mm-hmm. Carry them with you. The best way to describe this is, don't carry the bad things. Take the lessons out of the bad things that happened to you. Put those in your backpack and begin anew by changing your direction or what you're doing. Don't get stuck on a trail that's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Don't get stuck on a trail that's going around the mountain and not up the mountain.
Yeah. So how does that show up in one's life? Like, I get it, because, being in this journey for me, I don't really want to use my stories because I could, but could you give a story or an analogy or something to where someone can see? Because again, when you are thinking about entrepreneurship, it sounds one way. Mm-hmm. When you're experiencing it, the cruddy part about it is you kind of feel like you're alone sometimes, because all the stuff that you've heard on these things, you didn't really know what it actually looks like when you're sitting in it. So could you give some kind of example to where someone could clearly understand that?
It's understanding failure. I think it's a willingness to accept failure. If you go with me, I started a company right after I retired. I invented a golf product. I went out and got it patented. I spent a small fortune in the golf industry trying to sell that product and move that product. Absolute failure across the board, because you just don't walk into that world and start doing this. So I was doing everything wrong, from how I marketed it. So this is 2000, 2001, 2004 time frame. We didn't have all the tools that we have today. So it was organic, and everything I was doing was wrong. And eventually it came a point in time where I had to say, okay, I love this product. I'm committed to this, but you know what? I'm going to put it aside, and I'm going to start anew, and I'm going to go start doing my thing, which is coaching, and what I found myself really passionate about. So there's a willingness to accept failure.
Yeah.
The willingness to stop and change direction, being able to say, hey, the trail, I hate to say it, but the trail's ended here.
Quick question at that moment. So at that moment, did it ever cross your mind that was a waste of time at first?
Yes and no. Yeah, that's a very good question. That's very good, because it was, God, I wasted all this money. I wasted all this time. But I had to step back and say, what was the lessons I learned? What did I learn? I learned how to pick up the phone and call people. And I learned how to just simple things, how to make a sale, how to close a sale, how to get out and connect and network in circles that were completely out of my range. What I call, I was in rooms where I wasn't the smartest person in the room anymore. Mm. And I liked that.
Oh, that's good.
I realized I didn't like being the smartest person in the room. I was in rooms where there were PGA pros and teaching instructors and that were all, that were way above me. And I liked being in that company. I didn't, so that was something a takeaway I learned, is that I liked being in uphill people.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, because what you're saying is so freaking powerful. I mean, if you're in the military and you feel like everything that you've experienced, the time that you've been in, and everything like that has been a waste of time, no, it's giving you so much stuff that you can leverage now. It doesn't matter if you've been working at Starbucks. If you're working at a daggone Starbucks after the military or whatever, be the best you can be at that Starbucks, and you're going to tap so much equity in yourself that's going to carry with you for the rest of your life. And so when Marshall's talking about beginning anew, I think a piece of that is, first of all, how does it look and how does it feel? It feels like crap. I'm a failure. One of the six ghosts of fear or something like that mentioned in Napoleon Hill's books is a fear of criticism. So right after a failure, you feel terrible. And to be able to say, okay, well, what did I gain from this? What did I learn? Like Marshall said, and to just carry that with you and leave the crap behind. Now you're you're a new person. You have new traits and you have less of the old stuff to carry forward. Real quick, we got someone chiming in. In that moment, it feels like a waste, but you mature and realize what's the lesson from this so-called failure. Is this why it's key to have a coach or mentor to bring your awareness, your skills, and abilities? I mean, yeah, it could definitely be helpful. I mean, one thing I really want to isolate too is like you mature and realize. So again, I just really want to like comfort someone. I know comfort's like a taboo word in coaching sometimes, but someone who's going through that moment is like, yeah, I'm saying this and this, but sometimes you may need to just cool your head off for a couple of days. I noticed recently in my life that sometimes there are some issues and I'm trying to solve it in my mind, but really all I needed was like a week. And then I grew wisdom. And then that thing was like small to me. So yeah, you mature and you realize what's the lessons from the so-called failure. And then, is that why it's key to have a coach or mentor? Absolutely. I mean, I think it depends on what that person is seeking at that time. If someone is comfortable and has no problem being purposeless, then I don't really think they need a coach or a mentor. If somebody if somebody has really, really, really big goals and they want to find their purpose like that, I would say get a coach because they're going to show you tools that you can do to figure out your purpose. So it really just depends. I believe it's really good to get a coach when you have a specific thing that you want. So for me, if I want to grow my marketing skills to the next level, I could read books, which I do, but I could also go and pay someone who's read the same books 30 years ago and have practiced the stuff from it and who has millions of dollars to invest on different things. I'm going to also pay that coach and that mentor to shorten my learning curve so that I can increase my skills and stuff like that. So I say it really just depends on exactly where you are, but great.
Yeah, and I would agree with you that the coach is going to ask you the hard questions.
Yes.
You don't want to ask yourself.
Yes.
I say that you won't ask yourself. Everybody says, well, we'll sit down and think about it. And the answer is, I'm not going to think about that. It's behind me.
Exactly.
And the coach is going to ask you, okay, what did you learn? And it's a very good point. She said again, is that this is where having that somebody that's with you on the team, that's somebody that's with you on the journey that helps you up the mountain. They don't carry your bag for you and they won't carry you. I always say to people, I will not carry you up the mountain. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. But I will ask you the hard questions that get you up the mountain, that get you thinking into getting out of the campfire, getting back on the trail, starting at beginning anew.
And another thing I want to point attention to that Dr. Heather Lewis said is that to bring awareness to your skills and abilities, I'm going to kind of do a hybrid to what Marshall's saying as well. I got this from Alex Hormozy. He has an incredible YouTube channel. If you're an entrepreneur, check it out. Alex Hormozy talks about how the things that I'm going to butcher this a little bit. The things that you need to change or that you need to become aware of are your beliefs. This is what he says. He says the biggest beliefs that you need to change are the ones you don't even know you have. And so that is also, like, to go into what Dr. Heather Lewis is saying, is really powerful about having a coach. So a lot of times they could just listen to the way you're formulating your sentences and just be like, question, and then you're like, oh, that's a deep question. I don't know if I want to go there. And what does that do? It raises your awareness so you can make changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're right. There's a lot of things that hold us back. A lot of things, like I say, keep us in campfire. And we start thinking we're helping. We've become the leader of our campfire. We think we're helping everybody at the campfire that's around us, but really what we're doing is, because we're not growing, they're not growing. We're not going, they're not going. And we have set our own lid on ourselves to where, and that goes back to your business. And I learned this, that you are the lid on your business. Your business will not do this, come up to you, and then take off and be successful without you.
Yeah.
You're the lid. So unless you grow yourself, then the business grows up to match you. But if you're going to sit alongside the campfire, don't expect to be successful.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you another question on the campfire, but real quick, while we're on this topic, I want to say that if somebody wants to be driven, which I know all of you guys watching this are Vet Boss crew, one good way to do that, a good reminder, is to focus on that. To focus how you're going back to what Marshall's saying with the campfire, whether it's the habits that you struggle to let go of. Hey, you're talking from a guy in MEPS. The S stands for self-mastery. I struggle with habits. I struggle with people that I should cut out of my life. It's just that one of the things that helps me overcome this is focusing on the fact that if I don't keep growing, my family's not going to keep growing. I want my family to have certain mindsets and stuff like that, but I can only get there if I let go of these habits and these things. So it's a good thing to focus on. It's good to be driven by love, and sometimes it's good to be driven to avoid certain things that you don't want in your life. So next thing I wanted to ask you about, owning the trail. What's that?
Owning the trail. Yeah, it's let me think, and let me just talk about this a second. One of the things we start to learn in our lives is that we get on, we set this mountain. We have this mountain. It's our mountain. We're climbing our mountain. It's our trail. It's our journey that we're on. We're going there. And I learned about halfway up the mountain here that I got out of campfire. I got back moving. I'm climbing my mountain. And then I got about halfway up and I realized I'm not on my mountain. I'm not on my mountain. And, that's an overwhelming point because you see, you and I could get together and pile up some rocks.
Yeah.
And we could climb up on top of it and put a stick in it and say, that's our mountain. But it's really not. It's a pile of rocks. Who can build a mountain? I thought I put that mountain out there. Yeah. I didn't put that mountain out there. That mountain was put out there for me by something much greater than I. And when the moment I realized that I am not on my mountain, it suddenly realized that, wait, I may be a solopreneur, but is there somebody else as my boss? And should I show up to work early? Should I stay late? Should I go the extra miles? Should I help other people along the trail? Should I, should I be loving the people around me as I go? Because you know what? It's not my mountain. That mountain belongs to something greater than I am. That is God who put that in the way. And I'm preaching here. What day is it?
Let's do it, man. I love it. Yeah.
The journey and all the things that I've run into on my journey were put there to help me become that mountain climber, to become that person that can climb mountains. So where I am at in my journey is not my journey, not my mountain. I surrendered unto God. So that's what keeps me going also. Exactly. Is that He put a mountain out there for me. I got deep. I went deep there.
I love it. No, it's great. I mean, most of my audience, I really speak to spiritually inspired veterans, whether, you do have a God or, some people plug into the universe, whatever it is. I definitely think that if you can feel like there's something bigger than you guiding you and, and helping you throughout your journey, that's a huge benefit in having that belief. And to be honest, back when I was talking about being hungry and being driven, when I started, it was a journey of, in the beginning, I was out of the military and it was fight for survival, right? So my first focus when I started my first business was search engine optimization. But why? Because I thought it'd be a good way to make money. And I realized that's not my mountain, right? And so you're speaking the truth, man. And I love it because to answer the question of what can keep you driven is to get rooted and plugged into faith. I think somebody just told me this, like rooted in faith. I was on a call with somebody and anchor in your faith. Brandy, I hope you're watching. I'm going to send this to you. When you get rooted into your faith or you start saying, hey, I'm going to start listening here and I'm going to figure out how I can start helping people. And then you use your intelligence to make it sustainable and scalable, because if you believe that it should, your message, the message that you said, Marshall, I believe Everyone needs to hear that. I said everyone, but you know what I'm saying. It's a very powerful message.
Mm-hmm.
That could also be a really great driver. Guys, if you're watching this, press replay. If you're getting value out of this, let us know. The biggest thing that I ask for you guys to do is to share this. If you feel like other people in the world need to hear this, and share it. I just realized we hit time, Marshall.
No.
So with that, yeah, that was quick, right?
I'm looking at the clock up there.
Yeah. So with that being said, Marshall, with you being in business, with you being a retired lieutenant colonel, with you selling cars, man, everyone, if you're a veteran and you don't know where to start sales.
No.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I
do that. Yeah,
yeah, I did. I sold Fitbits. I sold cars. I went out and I said, I'm going to learn how to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because I had,
and I'm gonna get right back to where I was going, but just to like even more perfect my words, I would say the top 3 places to start: sales. I didn't start in marketing, but if you're someone you want to go work at a marketing firm, it's pretty darn a good idea. And then lastly, to work on yourself tremendously. Set yourself on a schedule and just stick to it and try to find your faith if you don't have it already. Thank you so much, Dr. Heather Lewis, for chiming in today and letting us know, and adding great value to this today. You're awesome. You're amazing. Marshall, so what I was going to ask is, what are some things, like some 3 quick tips or something for people to walk away from this interview and start thinking in a bright way towards their business?
I would say one is stay on the trail. Don't make that mistake of stepping off the trail and setting up your campfire.
Yeah.
If you're at campfire and you get up to leave and you get back on the trail, don't bring the things in your backpack that allow you to set up another campfire about 10 feet down the trail. Don't get rid of the habits. Get rid of, and this is harsh. That may mean some people in your life, that think campfire people. That's harsh, but ideas and beliefs. Get rid of that, and pay attention to the journey you're on. Because it is true. It's not the destination. It is your journey where you learn and become somebody. So yes, keep an eye on the mountain, but pay attention to your journey, because the journey is what's making you who you are.
I love it, Marshall.
And yeah.
No, that was incredible. What was that?
I said 3 things. I had to stop.
Oh, good. Me too. I got to stop too. But I was going to say is that to the last thing that you just mentioned, having a brain fart, but it was pay attention to the journey that you're on, right? So, I was listening to Ed Milet this morning. Again, Ed Milet, check out his YouTube. He's an incredible guy that I listen to. Sounds like you do as well. So he talks about how, it's not the things. This guy's worth like $500 million. He says it's not the daggone things. It's the emotions that you're seeking that you believe you're going to have once you get those things. And so what I've found so far in my journey, it goes right into these things that Marshall was saying, is that getting connected to faith and focusing on becoming the person I want to be, which includes not only the money and the business success. Again, it's not. So let me actually backtrack. That comes with the things that I want to be. So when I focus on who I want to be, it's, great husband, great leader for my community, these types of things. My point is, it keeps me driven because they give me those emotions and I'm able to relax and not stress myself out while I'm on the journey. And I think that's what a lot of us want, is to be able to relax and not be stressed out and enjoy the journey while we're there. Marshall, thank you so much for this. Where can they find your podcast?
They can find it at Owning Leadership on iPod or anywhere. You can also go to my website, MT2 Leadership. I also post it there, along with my blog. I've been working on my blog right now. So, and I do a live blog too. But
cool.
So if you go to mt2leadership.com, and you can find links to the places I am, Instagram, Facebook, all of those places are and marshalltownsend.com and MT2 Leadership are the same place.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again.
It's been awesome talking to you this morning.
I appreciate it. We have a retired lieutenant colonel here who's an entrepreneur sharing value to the Vet Boss community. This is beautiful. Again, what is this about? It's about there's so many daggone veterans out there doing great things for their communities. Marshall, real quick, just tell us some other things that you're involved in, by the way.
I'm state president, Association of the United States Army for Idaho. I'm also the Troops to Teachers rep for the state of Idaho, where I help people exit the military and get jobs as teachers in Idaho. And I'm also with I'm one of the mentors for the Wyakin Warrior Foundation, where I work with disabled veterans to help them get back through school, get their degrees, and get jobs.
And I'm pretty sure no one held a gun to your head and told you to do it.
No, that was part of that giving back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again. So we're gonna end it here. All right, y'all. On Friday, I'm going to be giving out some Vet Boss shirts. So stay tuned. I love you guys all. Keep kicking butt out there. Peace.